Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our council meeting for the 26th of September 2022 for the Whyalla City Council. Thank you for being here. Tonight we acknowledge the Whyalla people, the traditional owners of the land on which we meet today, and pay our respects to the elders past and present. We extend our respect to other Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people who are present. Almighty God, we humbly beseech thee to grant thy blessings upon the work of this council, to direct and prosper its deliberations to the advancement of the city and for the true and lasting welfare of the people of this municipality. I ask everyone to stand while I read the dictionary. Thank you. And remain standing for minutes of silence. Thank you. We would like to acknowledge the passings of Doreen Derbyshire, Isaac Newchurch, Jean Wright, Patricia Thomas, Mark Lanio, Kathleen Bass, Judy Murray, Robert Palmer, James Nielsen, Gail Noose, Belda Williams, Vincent de Moore, Robert Cooper, Martin Blair, Graham Nolan, Ronald Stevenson, Kevin McCormack, Dorothy Modistouch, Vander Walden, Carly Norman, William Patterson, and Shona Boynton. Okay, you may be seated. Thank you. Right, item 4, attendance records. We do have some apologies. We have apologies from Councillor Marshall, Councillor Pond, and Councillor Westmond. Thank you. I believe Councillor Marshall is on a leave of absence.
Oh, yes, yes.
Thank you. Right. Thank you for that. We go to declaration of members' conflicts of interest. Do any of the councillors have any they'd like to let me know at this point? Right. Okay. Item 6, minutes of the previous meeting. 6.1, the recommendations there. Would someone like to move that? Councillor Knox, thank you. Second, Councillor Simpson, thank you. Discussions or debate? Show of hands, all those in favour? That's carried. Thank you. 6.2, confirmation of the special council meeting held on Monday the 29th of August 2022. Recommendation is there. Would someone like to move that? Thank you, Councillor Simpson. Seconder, please. Councillor Santuzzi, thank you. So discussions or debate? Okay, I'll ask for a show of hands. All those in favour? Excellent, that's carried. 6.3, the confirmation of the special council meeting held on the 12th of September 2022. Councillor Knox is moving that, thank you. May I have a seconder? Deputy Mayor Stone, thank you. Right, no discussion or debate. Show of hands? That's carried. Thank you. 6.4 is the special council meeting held on that Tuesday the 13th of September 2022. You've removed that recommendation, councillor Santucci, seconded councillor Simpson. Thank you. Show of hands. Carried. Thank you. Item 7, deputations and presentations. We don't have any this evening. Thank you. Item 8, petitions. There are nil. Okay. Item 9, we've got the matters adjourned, laid on the table, the 9.1 resubmission of the report from the Whyalla Tech building. Okay. Do you want to speak to that, Kathy, at first or not? No? Yes. So what? Yeah. So what we need to do here is council needs to vote on that we take this up, pick this off the table. This is the former Whyalla building at this point. So we're looking for a mover and a seconder for that. Did you want to speak to that, Kathy? Sorry, apologies.
Yes, thank you.
Clarification.
That's okay. Through the Mayor, just as a point of clarification in terms of process for this particular item, given the item had previously been dealt with in confidence, we've inserted a slightly different resolution in here. So the first port is for council to bring this matter off the table. Then we recommend that a formal motion come from the floor to adjourn the item until item 19.1, which is when council would go into confidence in order to deal with the item. Then once it comes to item 19.1, council will resolve to go into confidence with this item. Then the item will be automatically resumed, given a resolution to bring it back on the table. That then needs to be voted on. And I just want to point out, I'll do that during the actual item itself, and then passing a resolution to keep it in confidence, given the previous resolutions.
Thank you. Thank you, Kathy. All right, so we'll start with step 1. So I'm looking for Councillor Knox has moved that. Thank you. And Councillor Simpson has seconded that first step. Thank you. Show of hands. All those in favour? Excellent. That is carried. Thank you. And now I'll ask that we have a mover and a second. Someone like to move that this motion be adjourned until confidential 19.1.1. Councillor Knox, thank you. And Councillor Santucci has seconded that. Thank you. Show of hands. All those in favour? Excellent. That is carried. So we will take that back up in confidential. Thank you for that. Thank you, Kathy, for that as well. Right. Public question time. We do have a question that is up on the screen there. Councillors, I will read it out. 10.1 from Mr. G. Ettridge, who is a resident. It is in regards to Clean Seas operation at Point Lowly. The question: was any of the remedial work to be carried out as requested at the Lowly Marina as per the council agenda of the 17th of May 2021 and to be completed by the 30th of September 2021 done? Question mark. The clarification is that the council will seek an update from Clean Seas regarding. Oh, sorry, I've got this updated. Apology. Let's just come in. The remedial work listed with the memorandum of agreement has not been implemented to date, noting that Clean Seas have moved their heavy operations to Port Pirie and the landing site, while some of the remedial work listed was predicted on Clean Seas' use of the marina for large vessels, which is no longer required. Clean Seas have indicated that they will be undertaking remedial works to existing to the existing boat ramps. Yeah. Sorry about that. Yeah. Thank you. Around that point. Councillor Simpson.
In this question, he's asking about the 30th of September. We have put a date on this, have we, for the remedial work?
CEO.
Thank you for the question, Councillor, and through the chair. Just wanted to remind councillors of the context that the remedial works that are referenced was in relation to the memorandum of agreement, which preceded the actual agreement to lease document. So it was basically at a point in time an intention of what was to go into a future lease. As Clean Seas have moved their heavy operations and no longer required to use Point Lowly as intended at that point in time for their larger vessels and their heavy lifting, they've not proceeded to look to execute the agreements lease, which would have provided a legal requirement for them to undertake that works. What they have done, however, in good faith and as a commitment to the local community, given that they are using the Point Lowly Marina for recreational size vessels, that they are going to honour their commitment, which is to remediate the boat ramps, given that they are themselves using boat ramps like all other users of the marina. That work is currently being scheduled. I just don't have a date tonight, but happy to bring back a report to council to provide an update at the next meeting. But I understand that plans have got well progressed to do that work.
Councillor Simpson?
Just on that subject, it's been in the paper and been on Facebook, they're moving out of the Fisher Bay. And we've been told officially that they're not staying.
No, they are staying. What's on Facebook is probably not a correct statement of fact. So they have every intention to continue to operate their 3 licensed sites, which includes Fitzgerald Bay. So they're not leaving, they're just reducing their activities at the port at the Fitzgerald Bay site for a short period of time.
It wasn't just on Facebook, we did the Whyalla News and various other news sites. I appreciate what you're saying.
Yeah, thank you. Rightio. Okay, 11.1 elected members' activities are now up on the screen. If any of the councillors want to speak to any of those activities, please do so. Councillor Knox.
I just mentioned when I attended the radio station Bilby Awards in Adelaide, and we picked up another 3 awards, not like the 7 we got last year, but nevertheless two first and a second, a pretty good little tiny radio station against some of the bigger guys.
It's an excellent result. Well done. Congratulations, Triple One. Okay, thank you. Right, we will now go to committee reports, and item 12 and there are nil. Thank you. Moving on to the page 39. Now, this is for the Office of the Chief Executive. We have some nominations that we need to work through here tonight. The first one being for the State Records Council, call for nominations. If there aren't any, that's okay. Just want to ask if any of you have any nominations that you would like to put forward for that particular position.
So yeah, just make the report in the second part.
So there are none for that one. Okay, thank you.
Just in the movements.
Yeah.
Make report.
So would someone like to do that movement? Thanks, Councillor Santuzzi, seconded to Councillor Stupos. Show of hands, all those in favour? Thank you, it's carried. 13.1.2, the Local Government's Finance Authority, call for nominations.
Are we calling for nominations? Sorry. Are we calling for nominations, or are we going to pick from the list of 5 that they put forward?
That's the next one. Okay, you're almost there. That one, thank you. Okay,
Beautiful enthusiasm.
that's all right. Thank you. So if there are no nominations, we will Thank you, and I'll ask someone to move and second that. Councillor Simpson, Councillor Knox, seconded, show of hands, all those in favour? Okay, thank you. Okay, so 13.1.3, the Government Finance Authority, positions of representative members of the Board of Trustees. Okay, so this is where we do have some people to choose from. And that offers a resume as a part of that report.
Isn't that the next one?
Right, three, yeah, that's right. So we have those nominees there in that report. Councillor Knox.
The question, are we nominating somebody or are we exercising a vote for somebody?
No, nominating two people, then it goes down to a decision from there, doesn't it? Yeah. Become a further decision from there. And then as all councils are asked to do so, and then it becomes a decision from there.
That's correct.
Yeah, so we
We need
have
to nominate two people.
yes, we need to nominate two people, and then that all councils across the state. Then from there, that will find down to the actual successful candidates. So, has anyone got anyone they'd like to, any nominees they'd like to put forward? Councillor Knox?
I was going to say Michael Sedgman,
Yes.
ambivalent about the others.
Right.
Ambivalent about the others.
So I need some feedback from the councillors. Yeah, see you.
In the absence of any other potential nominees from councillors, Matt Martin would be, I think, the next obvious person to nominate, given the experience.
Yeah.
So moved.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor?
Second.
Seconding that, yeah. They're both very experienced nominees. Right. If there's no more discussion or debate, we've got the two nominees we'll put through from our council. A show of hands, all those in favour? That's carried. Thank you. Okay, page 59, 13.1.4. Okay, so we're going to do a different voting system. We're going to do a ballot on this one. Okay, so this is for the position of LGA president. We have the applicants there. Mayor Keith Parks from Alexandrina Council, Mayor Caroline Phillips from District Council of Karoonja and East Murray, Mayor Brett Bembo from Port Augusta City Council, Mayor Bill O'Brien from Light Regional Council, and Mayor Erica Vickery OAM from Narra Court, Lucendale Council. So, is there any questions from councillors?
So just in terms of process, may
Yep.
just get
Yep.
councillors to record just who they prefer.
Yes, I will. Yeah, second. But is there any questions? Is anyone who want to nominate? Questions you have of me or anything like that? No?
Happens if there's.
Okay, so then we'll do that. Then we'll do this. Let's write down on a piece of paper. We'd like to nominate.
H.
Obviously, a majority will be the successful.
Yeah.
You scroll this up to page 60.
59.
60, so you can see who they are.
Oh,
I've got the names.
I have the agenda here.
Oh, yeah, I'll show you.
Yeah, sorry, I don't have the agenda on this system.
Okay, so we have, I'll just go through that while we're voting. There's Mayor Keith Parks from Alexandrina Council. Mayor Caroline Phillips from the District Council of Karoonja and East Murray. Mayor Brett Bembo from Port Augusta City Council. Bill O'Brien, Blunt Regional Council. Erica Vickery, OAM, from Narrabri, Luton, York. So if there's any questions, please ask me, because I do know all of these candidates. No questions, that's for the. Voting has completed, and it will just be tallied up, and then hopefully we'll have an outcome. If we have a tie, then we'll just do a vote based on the two successful candidates.
Wait, sorry.
Thank you. We do have a vote, successful nominee, and it is Mayor Erica Vickery from OAM from Narra Court Council. So, yeah. So I'd like to move that. Thank you, Councillor Stupos, and a seconder, Councillor Knox. Well, that's Mayor Erica Vickery. Thank you. A show of hands, all those in favour? So that's carried. Thank you. Page 69, 13.1.5. Closure of accounts and facilities during the Christmas and New Year's period. It's a procedural matter that we have to undertake. Councillor Stupos is moving that, and Deputy Mayor is seconding that. Goodstone, thank you. Show of hands, all those in favour? That is carried. 13.1.6, the CEO's action report. We'll take that as being read, but if yes, you're happy with that, CEO? Are you moving that, Councillor Stupos, or do you have a question?
Not moving.
Thank you. Councillor Knox,
What is the next stage with the naming of the landing?
Thank you for the question for the Mayor. We are likely to undertake some community consultation and get some community feedback regarding some potential suitable naming, similar to what we did with the campsites for the Northern Coastline project. So we'll be proceeding with that. I'm not sure if we've got a time frame just at present, but the next step will be to engage the community to call for suggested names.
you seconding that, Councillor? Yes, thank you. Yes. Right, no other questions? Show of hands, all those in favour? That's carried. Thank you. Right. Budget corporate reports 13.2.1, the monthly budget report. Grant is in the audience, but we'll just take that as being read. Right. No questions, ask for someone to move that, please. Recommendation is there that they note, council notes and receives the report. Thank you, Councillor Knox. Sorry, and seconding, Councillor Simpson. Show of hands, all those in favour? Thank you, that is carried. Page 91. Your area dog off leash information report 13.2.2. The recommendation is there for the council to receive a note from Foreshore Area Dog on off leash information report. Someone like to move that report? Councillor Santuzzi. Seconder, Deputy Mayor Stone. Thank you. If there's no discussions or debate, ask for a show of hands. All those in favour? Thank you. That's carried. Okay, let's go on to city growth. There are no reports, and city infrastructure, there are no reports. 14.1, my list of engagements is there. Any questions, anyone, in regards to those? Let's speak to, we went, Whyalla went to the, Global Maintenance Conference, which was great. 600 people turned up, which is a wonderful hearing. And next year it's to be held in, Port Augusta. So it's rotating, turn. That was really good. And we had a meeting with Ed Hughes just around the sporting hub conversation, which was good to see that progressing. And we had some good discussions, which the Whyalla Council did with in September with the Treasurer, the Honourable Stephen Mulligan, and Nick Champion as well. So yeah, so it's been a sort of reasonably busy month, but I think it's had some good engagements with government, state government, and they're showing some very keen interest in our city, and also the Upper Spencer Gulf region, with them coming out for country cabinet and obviously engaging as a cabinet, but also as individual ministers, not only in Port Augusta and Port Pirie, but also coming over to Whyalla. So no, it's very very good to see that relationship working very well. We want to see that moving forward into the next council, because it's incredibly important for everything great that's happening in Whyalla. Right, thank you. I'll ask someone to move that, please. Deputy Mayor Stone, seconded Councillor Simpson. Show of hands, all those in favour? Excellent, thank you, that's carried. Okay, so we now go to item 15, notices of motion. There are nil. 16 questions on notice, there are nil. And 17 questions without notice. Alps?
I have one. I did ask a question at the last meeting, I think it was last meeting, about Black Oak Cove and charging for the water there. I think we need to go back and revisit some earlier minutes and reports, because in the life of the previous council, the water rate was put in place, and they were put in place by Councillor Antonio. I think it might behove us to have a look at what was decided back then and get something moving quite quickly.
Theo?
Thank you again for raising that question, Councillor. We, since the council made those previous resolutions about provision of water to that area, we obviously have had the hydrogen projects come along, and what that represents is an opportunity for SA Water to be the water provider to that whole area, noting that they'll need to take additional water supplies out to the Port Bonython and Glenglady areas. The current plan is to re-engage SA Water to seek for them to assume responsibility as the potable water supplier to that area, given that that's their core business. So we are progressing down that path. If SA Water doesn't come to the party as a matter of sort of emergency, as indicated, then we'll obviously revert to looking at charging for that water ourselves.
I can understand all of that, but just flag that over 4 years ago, arrangements were put in place. As I recall, they were supposed to be charged, and that person may well come back into council. But just forewarned.
Right, thank you. Are there other councillors? Chupos, you have a question?
Question without notice is regarding the airport opening. Has our fire hydrant water issue been resolved? Have we had a clearance certificate? And if we haven't, what's our liability should there be an accident, the plane catches on fire on that day?
Construction is either commenced or about to commence, and it should end by the time of the open day. Even if it's not, we comply to hold that event, and just as the airport's operating now, so we're okay. And the emergency management planning and risk management planning from Paul Bennett Air Shows is second to none. And ours is, has been satisfactory to them, so they'd be the first to pull the pin.
Got insurance service.
And we've got insurance on site.
Thank you. Are there any other questions of that notice? Okay, thank you, councillors. We'll move on to motions of that notice. There's none. Thank you. Okay. So I will now ask for an adjournment to this part of the meeting. We will adjourn for 20 minutes. And then when we come back in, we will move back into, we'll move into a confidential part of the meeting. Thank you. So I'll ask for someone to move that. Councillor Stupos, seconded Councillor Deputy Mayor Stone. Show of hands, all those in favour? That is carried. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. And we're now resuming the meeting, council meeting at 6:20. Right, as now we enter the confidential section, I'll be asking for a mover to go into that, and Councillor Stupos is moving that, and Councillor Simpson is seconding that to move into confidential. Show of hands, all those in favour? Thank you. So we will now cease the live streaming because we are going into confidential. Have things on the agenda. The elected member briefing session for the has now been cancelled. So we only have, the next meeting will be our ordinary council meeting held 17. That meeting is still council point of view. So in that, I would like to declare this meeting closed at 6:07. Thank you all for attending.